Hey guys, and welcome back to another Warframe video, where today we are going to be talking about Smite, which is Oberon's first ability. And if you've been following any of my Duviri max out videos more recently, you would have seen that I have come to use this ability quite a lot on a few of my builds, and there is a good reason for that. It scales very well with enemy HP and armor. So today I just want to kind of demonstrate how Smite works on some very high level enemies, and then we'll show some practical uses for it throughout the star chart. Obviously it's very useful in Steel Path Circuit on Duviri, and if you want to go and have a look at one of my videos, I'd recommend going and look at the Necros Duviri max out video, as that demonstrates the power of Smite quite well there. But yeah, today we just want to explain kind of the mechanics behind it and how you can improve the damage output from it. But what I want to say right up front is that in order for this to work effectively, you are going to want some means of stripping armor. Now, I am going to be using Unairu, and I'm going to be using Caustic Strike to do this. However, you can use, Ash's, shurikens, and you can use Necros' Terrify or whatever, but bear in mind that you probably want to use a different ability, which I'm going to be demonstrating today, which is Zarta's Whisper, which can really help you pin down single targets with this build. So yeah, we're going to run through the basics. So if we take a look at the build that I'm running here, one thing you need to know about Smite is that it is very similar in behavior to just normal weapons fire, and it can be affected by mods that are going to affect, damage on equip. So Vigorous Swap can affect the damage on it, as can Holster Amp as well affect the damage on Smite. But things like Smite Infusion aren't going to affect it. They're only going to empower our weapons. So yeah, this isn't going to really make a whole lot of difference. It's just for the benefit of, applying radiation to my other weapons that I like to use on this build. So yeah, you can see here our Smite. If we just run through kind of the bonuses, the stats that this is going to provide, you can see the initial damage there, 1,270. So that is going to be the damage we deal to the first target that Smite hits. You can then see that we have orb damage. Now, this is going to vary. It's not going to be 381. It is, in fact, actually going to be calculated off of that 35%, the other orb damage stat below. Now, that 35% is basically talking about the armor and health value of the first target you hit with that initial damage. So if you hit a very tanky enemy with that first hit, then the orbs that come out of it are going to deal a pretty high amount of damage. But that being said, if you don't strip the armor of these targets, the damage is going to be reduced massively, especially if you're going against, high level Steel Path targets, where you're on this exponential curve and you're right at the top. Armor is basically reducing the damage you deal by 99.9% at that point, and it's really not going to do much. Hence, the armor strip is pretty important for this. Now, what I'm also using on here is Zarta's Whisper. Now, Zarta's Whisper has one benefit to it for this particular build, which is very good for taking down single target enemies. Now, you don't have to do this for a single target build. You can use something else and just spam it and let the orbs fly around and take out enemies around the map. But for this particular build and this demonstration, I want to show how you can just annihilate a high level target in one Smite shot utilizing Zarta's Whisper. Now, I'm also going to be demonstrating alongside this some other things you can utilize, which is Mutualist Quanta. So for those of you who don't know, Mutualist Quanta's secondary fire produces an orb which floats around in the air. And if you shoot through it, or if you fire anything through it, which in our case is going to be Smite, then the orbs that travel through it are going to have increased crit stats. Now, I can't remember exactly if it's increased crit chance or crit damage. I believe it's crit chance. And Smite can indeed crit the target. So if we actually think about what we've been talking about here, Smite dealing 35% damage of the target's total HP value or armor value or whatever is going to be increased, that 35%, by Vigorous Swap, by our Zarta's Whisper bubble, which we'll explain in a second, and also by firing through our Mutualist Quanta. So, the damage increase is going to be substantial, and that is how we are going to one-shot very high level enemies indeed. So without further ado, let's kind of just hop into a demonstration here and show the damage calculation. Alright guys, so we have some level 195 corrupted Steel Path heavy gunners. Now these guys are incredibly beefy, and if I was just to use my Smite normally, you can see that there is very little damage being done to the other targets. Let's just quickly go and fill up on energy before we go any further. So if we were just to use Smite normally without any armor strip, we're basically not going to do anything. Even with our Vigorous swap, let's just use that. It only increases by so much. However, if we were to armor strip, like we said, and try again, you can see we are now up in the thousands of damage, where before we were up in the, tens. Let's now employ a Vigorous swap. 17,000 now. Obviously, it's going to drop down as soon as our Vigorous swap buff ends, so you want to keep using it if your orbs are taking a while to home in on the target. Now let's try it through our Quanta bubble. So we'll do that. We'll swap. And you can see we got a few crits in the mix there. I don't know if you saw that. We'll try it again just to demonstrate. 22,000 over there. So a bit of extra damage there from the Quanta bubble, which is nice. But now what we want to utilize is our fourth ability, our Zarta's Whisper. And this is essentially going to contain all of the orbs to one target. So let's demonstrate over here on a fresh bunch. So if I was just to fire normally... Oh, I've got to use it first. That would help. You can see here there is a nice little orb surrounding the target. It's quite a big orb in this case because the enemy is fairly significant. But nonetheless, there is a magnetic bubbled orb that surrounds the target and redirects any projectiles towards that target. That includes, you guessed it, our Smite orbs. So where we're going to usually fire out loads of orbs that are going to hit multiple targets, we are going to contain all of them to the single target right here. So let's just do it normally first of all with our Smite and our Vigorous swap and whatnot. Let's activate Zarta's Whisper on the target, Vigorous swap. And there we go. That was even without using our Mutualist Quanta to obviously increase the chance of getting a crit. So let's come back over here. We'll keep this guy active. So let's go ahead. We'll throw out our Mutualist Quanta bubble first. Activate Zarta's Whisper. We didn't do it soon enough, my bad. Let's retry that over here. I forgot to do Vigorous swap beforehand, so we'll try that again. Strip the armor. Not like that. Like that. So then we want to put out this guy. Activate Zarta's Whisper. Swap. And there we go. One shot. One shot from full HP down to 0 with just one Smite. Now, obviously, if you do want to just wipe out the map, you can just Vigorous swap and just spam one. And eventually enemies will die. You can see their HP does go down quite a bit. And if you did want to use a map clear build, that is entirely possible. And if you've seen my DVRE max out videos, again, that's what we use there. So what I want to do this video is kind of show a real world application for that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to hop into a mission and kind of show where this can benefit you. All right, guys, so we're loading into Lua, Apollo Disruption right here. Now this is a bit finicky. I really don't like doing this, but it's a good way to show off the build, I guess. We're going to use exactly the same method we just saw, but we're going to use it against Demolisher units. Now, obviously, the timing here is going to be crucial. And I have amended my build slightly, so I've got rid of Smite Infusion, just so I don't accidentally cast it. I've also thrown on a Daza Kavat, and I've gone ahead and I've put on Magus Lockdown on my Operator so that I can secure the Demolisher in place. But first of all, we've got to go ahead and get ourselves a key. So I'll put Glaive Prime on just so I can kill some normal units. Probably isn't the most practical approach to doing disruption missions, but yeah, I just wanted to show where this build could be used, and obviously Demolishers are some of the most troublesome units in the entire game. So let's see if we can get one. I'm only going to do one because, like I said, I'm really not good at this at all. Alright, let's activate our Zarta's Whisper here. And then we will do that. And that. Oh god! Oh, that was amusing to say the very least. All right, let's try one more. I don't think that went overly well. I'm sure we can probably do a bit better than that. I did mess up my combos quite significantly. Let's just go ahead and we'll blow up some more enemies. But you know, you got to remember these things are level 135. Or the demolish units are probably slightly higher than that even. I didn't even check. And just being able to use an ability to take them out is quite fun. Let's see. You got to get your... The key here, I think, is getting the Mutualist Cernos bubble... Or Mutualist Quanta, sorry, not Mutualist Cernos bubble, in the right place. So that you get the increased crit damage or crit chance from it. It's probably quite important. But I am no good at it. Where are all the keys? There's elite checksums here. Oh, did that too soon. Alright, let's get this key. Let's see how we do second time around. Oh, he is over here. Good guess. Alright, so... Oh, we got it a bit there at the end. But you got to make sure that it kind of stays on him. I think that's the important thing. But yeah, like I said, I'm not very good. You saw there, one hit actually did do a significant amount of his HP there towards the end. And that is kind of what you want to get up front. I can't place my Mutualist Quanta bubble correctly to kind of fully demonstrate it. But hopefully it kind of gives you an idea that it can be achieved. It just takes a lot of practice, which I really haven't put in. So yeah. We'll quickly head back to the Orbiter, guys, and just kind of round out the video there, I think. Okay, guys, so even in my unpracticed hands, Smite still able to take down level 135 at least Steel Path disruption units. So, yeah. Maybe once I've practiced that a bit, I'll get way more consistent at it. Perhaps you guys are already way more consistent at it than I am, because I'm really not good at it. But you saw towards the end there, there was that one smite that we were able to do that kind of chunked its HP significantly, and that is what you want to get up front. And it is down to timing, you know, positioning of your Mutualist Quanta Orb and stuff like that, but you are able to just annihilate those disruption units up to level infinity, essentially, because obviously the damage will scale, the 35% damage, it scales up, and as long as you can strip the armor, you know, we were able to use Unairo to strip the armor, then you should be able to just continually one-shot them. Obviously, you probably won't be able to survive that long using Oberon, but, you know, you can work this vice versa, and you can put Smite onto Jakku, which uses Zarta's Whisper, so you might be able to last a bit longer with that frame over Oberon. But yeah, hopefully at the very least this video has been interesting and informative. If you did enjoy, or if you have your own suggestions, comments, you know, constructive criticism, any ways that you can help me improve my my skill in that matter, leave those down below in the comments. Otherwise, guys, I hope you enjoyed, and if you, yeah, like I said, enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. See you later.